Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Life in General podcast. My name is Nick.
No, you're not. You're a liar.
How am I a liar?
Because you're not Nick.
Who am
You're
I
an
then?
imposter.
I'm an imposter.
Yes. You've infiltrated the Life in General studios
Yeah, is that what it is?
to wreak havoc on podcast worlds everywhere.
I don't think there is. There's not like a name to the studio though. So
We probably should have one.
I guess.
I mean, not only do we do audio recordings, we do video recordings.
Yeah.
It's essentially a studio in that sense.
I mean, it's set up like a studio.
Yeah.
I could do like professional recordings down here.
Sure, there you go. So name your studio. Imposter Studios.
Imposter Studios. It would not be that.
No.
I don't know what it would be.
Yeah.
Blue Sunday Studios, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
So what's going on, Ian? It's been a couple of weeks since we've had a show.
We took some time off.
Yes, yeah, took some time off. That's what we.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Isn't that what they always say? Like if a show goes off the air and it's like unexpected because like, you know, the star's in rehab or something.
Well, neither of us were in rehab.
No,
that I
no.
know of,
But, you know, that's what they always say. We just took a break. We took some time off.
we took a couple of weeks off, and we are back now, I think.
I'm here.
So what's going on, Ian? Anything new? I guess since the last time we talked, there's been like this war that's been going on.
Yeah. Threats of nuclear annihilation, the likes of which we haven't seen since the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, so Putin, I guess, in a roundabout way, kind of threatened the rest of the world with a nuclear attack. But I don't.
No, he just said, "All right, you guys keep messing with me. I'm just going to put my nukes on alert.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna flash them around like like wiggling your dick in public.
Wiggling your nukes in public.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever get to a point where someone will actually like.
The only thing I can think of is, I mean, do you think he would be capable of being like scorched earth policy if he was going to like lose everything?
No, because I don't think he'll ever get to a point where he will lose everything.
Yeah. I mean, he needs to. He's, a terrible human being, but.
Well, that's the funny thing is like people are like, now we see the real Putin.
No.
And I'm like, have you guys not been paying attention?
Right. Since like the 1990s.
Yeah. For the last 25 years, this is what Putin has been. Putin has talked before about reuniting the Soviet Union. And people
He's
must
had
have been
journalists radioactively poisoned.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Been
That's like going way beyond.
rounding people up and all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just par for the course.
Yeah, people have not been paying attention.
No, that's okay. They never do.
Hopefully they do now. I mean, but
No, if he were to just shut everything down and pull his troops out, everyone by next week, no one would even be talking about Vladimir Putin.
yeah, I don't know about that. I
really
think he's really.
I'm just saying our media is very fickle, and just.
But it's not just here in the United States, though. I'm talking about like on the world stage. The one thing, like Putin was partially provoked by the thought that Europe was, in the process of, all coming together against Russia.
Right.
Well, guess what happened? He invaded Ukraine,
And now all of Europe's against Russia.
Yeah. You even got like, look, when you piss fucking Sweden off, there's fucking problems.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, because what was it?
When Switzerland is pissed off at you, you've got problems.
Well, what it was what was it? What's his name? Stephen Colbert was like, look. Hitler's around. Sweden's like, nah, we'll be all right. We're just going to ignore everybody. We're not taking a side. Putin comes along. They're like, oh, no, take his money away. Yeah. It's like, it's pretty bad if you're worse than Hitler to Switzerland.
Yeah, not that we're saying that he's worse than Hitler.
But I'm just pointing out
it's funny,
the irony of Switzerland's decision.
Yeah.
Relative
I think that Switzerland and some other countries in Europe that stayed more neutral at certain parts of World War II have kind of learned from their mistakes, I think.
In a sense, just because, well, yeah, I mean, you have to think about it. We're 70, almost 80 years removed from the end of the war, World War II. It's, we're talking, what, three generations?
Yeah, but the other
people
thing
are different, they're going to make different
decisions. The world is very different, too, because if you look at, like, if all this was going on in 1935, in the 30s, we were not a global economy.
Right.
There was no such thing as the global economy. We wouldn't have been able to shut down finances in Russia like we have now.
Yeah, well,
financially, Russia is completely isolated.
In order to do any type of like economic sanctions on a country like Russia back then, they would have had to just blockade the country.
Yeah.
Literally physical troops on the ground blockading as a blockade
they
all
could
shipments.
Really, they would close off ports and things like that.
But that would be the only way they could have done it back then.
Yeah. But now you're able to, with a couple of votes, completely isolate the finances of Russia.
I think. How long has the European Union been around?
Since after World War II.
But I mean, in the strength that it is now, where it had, pre-Brexit, of course, but where it really encompassed a great portion of the of Europe.
I think it was shortly after World War II ended. So
Yeah, but Germany wasn't part of it. The UK wasn't part of it.
West Germany was, but I would
okay, let me put it to you this way: how long has the European Union been
a unified force?
Yes,
since
opposed
the 90s,
to okay, that's what I was shooting
since the fall of the Soviet Union.
Okay, that's what I was going to shoot.
Yeah, after Germany was reunited and things like that. Yeah, so I'd say early to mid 90s.
Okay, that's kind of what
92, 93, 94, somewhere around there. I'd say it's been the strength that it has been.
Now, do you think if they had dismantled NATO, then
the way that Trump wanted to under his presidency?
Well, no, I'm not saying it as I think it should have happened. I'm just wondering, was NATO still a necessary deterrent up until now?
I think it has been.
Putin became president.
I've definitely had my issues with NATO over the years, but I always understood like the central kind of focus of NATO, which was this it was almost an anti-Russia organization, built to kind of keep Russia and other people that wanted to invade other sovereign nations in line.
Right. Well, I've always understood it as kind of a deterrent to Russia.
Yeah.
To contain Russia, and that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like
something that the UN probably should have been, but never really could have been.
Right. I'm just thinking that. Not to necessarily get rid of NATO, but maybe it should have been maybe reorganized in a way so that it wouldn't. And I'm not saying that NATO is a bad thing or anything like that. And I'm not even saying that it's a justification for what Putin is doing. What I'm implying is that everything has there's consequences to everything in terms of foreign policies and things like that. And we can look at how World War I started, how World War II started, all of the shit that's happened since World War II, and especially in Europe and on the foreign stage and in terms of foreign policy. And, if, say, this did escalate and it did end up becoming something bigger like a World War III, I think historians are going to be able to look back, if there's any of us left to be historians, and say, they might be able to find a causality in just maintaining NATO as it was, rather than reorganizing it into something that was more European based. Yeah.
Because at this point, NATO is still the deterrent, right? Because that's when the shit's really going to hit the fan. Is
if NATO goes in,
if Putin invades a NATO country,
right?
Because if Putin invades a NATO country, then it's automatically triggered that the United States goes to war.
Right. Well, because we're a member of NATO.
Yeah. So,
would it though? I mean, yes, it would, because we'd be involved and we would have to send troops, but it wouldn't necessarily be a declaration of war from us. It would be a declaration of war from NATO.
From NATO, but I think it's Article 5, I believe.
I don't know what the articles are.
It's basically what it says is the United States is obligated to defend any other NATO country, and that's why Ukraine was pushing
to become a NATO country.
To becoming a NATO country, but that's not going to happen.
Right? No, it's not. Not now. I mean, they can't.
No. Well, they were trying to. I think it was previously were trying to become part of NATO, and that's kind of what I think what really pushed Putin was the fact that they were trying to join NATO, and Putin saw that as another. Because Ukraine over the last 20 or they've been independent for 30 years now, but probably 25 years has really, every year has become more Western European.
Right.
And has kind of pulled away from Russia. And, Putin and the people that run the show in Russia saw Ukraine moving away and knew that eventually they weren't going to be able to control them.
Right.
So if they joined NATO, they knew that would be the last straw, and they would not be able to touch Ukraine. Ukraine's a huge economy.
Right. Well, it was.
I mean, it still is.
For now.
Previously to the last 2 months, but
right.
So it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. I mean, Russia is going to overtake Ukraine. It's gonna be interesting. I think there's been a couple other European countries that have offered Zelensky and his government safe haven.
Right. He keeps turning it down.
Yeah, because he wants to have this unified front to fight against Russia, which I completely get.
I do too, but it's going to get him killed.
It will get him killed, and that's why his families are already out of Ukraine, and because he could have and those other countries have offered him safe haven to run their country remotely, basically.
Right.
And that, I mean, how does that look for morale? You've got people, literally people in the fucking countryside. They're like,
well, let's
going
face
to the store and buying guns so they can fucking kill the invading Russians.
Let's face it, including the U.S. and most importantly the U.S., but name a country where any of their presidents would do the same thing he's doing. Ours wouldn't, and it doesn't matter who's in office. Trump would have been gone before the first shot was fired. Biden would hold out, and for a few days, but he'd be in a bunker.
Well, so is Zelensky.
I heard Zelensky was getting ready to go out and fight.
No. He was even doing interviews on CNN 2 days ago.
He can't do that
from his secret bunker that he's been hiding in.
Wow.
But he's running his government out of that bunker. I mean, it's not like he's still there. He's still leading the charge, but he is doing it from his bunker.
Yeah.
Unless something has changed in the last 12 hours.
No, I read an article that he said he was getting ready to
I think he
go out and fight.
I think he means like he's going to stay there and lead the fight.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, like I said, if you've got people in the countryside buying guns, and that's exactly what they were doing. They were going to the store and buying up all the guns.
Making Molotov cocktails.
Yeah, because they were going to fight Russia from their fucking countryside house.
Right.
How does I mean, you completely break the morale
if you leave the country.
If you leave the country.
Yeah.
So he's got to stay. But yeah, he's got to know that, he's on borrowed time.
Right.
He will die soon. But he's gonna, go down with the sinking ship.
Yeah, that's respectable.
It is. And I've said it for the last.
And I guess maybe that's what I was saying. No one in the Western world would do that. No leader, current leader. Would
I don't
do
know.
That.
I don't know about that.
None of ours would.
And I don't know if Trump would have left either.
But you think he would go down with the ship?
Probably not.
No.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're never getting in that situation, A, that Trump is president again, and B, there's a sinking ship in the United States. I mean,
and you know what? Both are going to happen, Nick. We are destined for both of those scenarios to happen.
So this is what I've been saying the last couple of days. Look, if Putin wants Ukraine, give Ukraine to Putin and Russia. Okay, with one little caveat that to take Ukraine, all Putin has to do is get into a boxing ring with the mayor of Kiev and beat him in a boxing match. That's all he's got to do, and they can have Ukraine. Do you know who the mayor of Kiev is?
No, apparently I don't.
Vladimir Klitschko, which is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of the last 30 years.
But doesn't Putin know judo or jujitsu or whatever? It
doesn't matter. I'm sure Vladimir Klitschko will beat the living shit out of the fucking guy. And I give him and his brother a lot of fucking credit because both of them are former heavyweight champions.
Right.
Both of them have millions and millions of dollars, and both of them are staying and they're in the fucking streets fighting Russians.
Yeah.
So I give both of them a lot of fucking credit.
Absolutely. I mean, the Ukrainians in general have all handled this with a considerable amount of bravery and respectability. And I think that's really honestly helped them on the world stage as well.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be interesting to see how it all folds out.
I just wish there would be a solution where Russia doesn't get Ukraine.
There's not going to be.
Yeah.
There's not going to be. The only way,
let them have Chernobyl. You can have Chernobyl.
Well,
Because he wants Chernobyl. I read some article and they were saying that Chernobyl was high on his list.
Well, that's because the site where the point at where Chernobyl is in Ukraine is the most direct route to Kiev.
Oh,
so that's why they wanted to go on that route, because that's very close to.
So maybe we could just hope that the army, as they go through Chernobyl, gets all irradiated and dies of cancer before they get to Kiev.
Well, this 40-mile long military convoy that's been sitting outside of Kiev, maybe they'll sit there long enough that they'll all grow a third leg and
right,
they'll all die of colon cancer.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a messy situation. I don't envy anyone who has to deal with it in terms of the political side of it, and I surely, my heart goes out to the people because
they're the ones that they're going to suffer.
It's easy to say, "Oh, I would do the same thing in their position," but you never know.
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
that's the funny
I think
thing.
anyone
so
does.
The funny thing is, like, I've seen these memes the last week, right? And it's like, well, this is why we need to have our AR-15s and 30 round magazines. And I'm like, from who? The fucking Canadians or the fucking Mexicans?
Right.
Like, no one's fucking
the
invading us.
The Mexicans
no one's
are
fucking invading us.
The Mexicans who are crawling across the desert with a bag on their back, or the Canadians who are just like, here, you want some maple syrup?
Yeah. Exactly. Like, no one's invading us, people. Come on.
Right.
Get your heads out of your asses.
No, we're strategically in a very good position.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only thing we really have to worry about is, ballistic missiles.
That's it.
That's it. So,
but
from outside. On the inside, there's not so. There's a lot more to worry about.
Hey, you know what? That was.
We're more likely to fall from a civil war than we are to have any kind of invasion.
But like we've talked before, that was Al Qaeda's whole goal of September 11th.
Oh, I know.
It was not to bring down the government. It was for the country to eat itself alive, which it has been over the last 22 years or 21 years.
Yeah, and it's gotten more gluttonous as it's gone.
It's eating up more and more of it. Yeah, but I thought it was funny when I've seen that meme posted a couple of times, and I'm like, who's invading us, assholes? Right, I did see I was watching Fox News a couple of days ago, and it might have been before the State of the Union. And there was this, I don't know who the chucklehead was on the TV that was doing this whole big spiel about it. It might have been, what's that one guy that everyone fucking hates? Not Tucker Carlson, but the other.
Sean Hannity?
Yeah. I was watching Hannity. And he did this whole big report about how all these illegals are flooding over the border and how, the Customs and Border Patrol have literally caught millions of people since the beginning of the year. And my first thought was,
They're catching them.
They're catching them. That's the whole point.
Right.
Wait. So he's making an argument that the borders aren't secure
but they're catching
showing things, proving that the border is secure.
Right.
Because you people are fucking rubes.
Yeah, they really are. Because all they hear is millions of people are coming across the border. What they're not hearing is that they're being caught and sent back.
Well, that's his thing. Was like, yeah, I don't remember what the number was. 1.3 million illegals were caught, but there's probably millions of more that got in. Of course, is what he said. I'm like, really?
Because it's that boogeyman. Brown people are coming for your jobs.
But that's why we got to have the AR-15s to fight the Hispanic women and children coming across the border.
Yeah, because Juan from Guatemala is gonna take that gardening job that you've been dying to have.
Guatemala, can he come over and cook me some food, man? I'm telling you, man, ever since I moved back from Nashville, I can't find any good fucking Hispanic food here in southeast Michigan.
You gotta find districts that are predominantly Hispanic.
Man, that was the great thing about working in Nashville is I worked in I don't know, it's not really Little Mexico, but it's kind of what it is. I lived in a very Hispanic part of, and I guess I should say Little Mexico because that's. There's more Hispanics than just Mexicans. But anyway, I could walk out the front door of our office and be like 3 taco trucks within 5 minutes that had better food than any fucking restaurant you will.
I'm already imagining myself being 100 pounds fatter.
Oh
than
my
I
God,
am.
It was so great, man. There was there was a Hispanic market across the street, and actually the restaurant next door to it is where Obama came eat when he was in town in Nashville. But we had this great Hispanic market across the street, and the ladies that worked in our office, which were, I think they were all from El Salvador, and one was from Venezuela, and then I think the other one was from Mexico. But anyway, they would all go across the street, or one of them would go across the street on a Friday, and like get a whole bunch of food and like cook up all this fucking badass food
on the weekend and bring it in on Monday?
No. In the office on Friday.
Really? Cook it in the office?
Yeah, we would all sit there and eat. Yeah, because there was a kitchen in our office.
Oh.
So yeah, they would make the food. Dude, that's like, and I eat that kind of stuff, and then I go to like any kind of Hispanic restaurant in southeastern Michigan. And I'm like, this food fucking sucks.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is
Because
this?
even some of the good ones that we used to go to have gone downhill, you know, because, you know, whether that's...
Well, that's the one thing
the one that I'm thinking of, the family, you know, the father started the business, but he's not running it anymore. I think even like it's down to the grandchildren now, and it's just not the same.
Yeah. You know. There was one Mexican restaurant. I keep saying Mexican, but I guess that's what we call it. But anyway, so I went to this one Hispanic restaurant that we used to go to all the time, and the kids liked it, and like, you know, the food was okay, but like when I think of like, especially like Mexican food, you know, it's like these bold flavors and things like that, and you go there and it's like eating fucking baby food, man. There's like no flavor to it. It's all fucking. You gotta bland.
Sauce it all up.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. It's like
it's Taco Bell.
It's like eating fucking old people food. Taco Bell is better than a lot of the fucking Hispanic restaurants I go to. But yeah,
actually, I haven't had Taco Bell in so long.
Taco Bell is really the only fast food I eat.
Yeah, I'm craving some Taco Bell.
And that's
now.
because you can't go to a fast food place. I was driving home from work. I picked up a shift. I think it might have been last week, and I was coming home like late in the afternoon, and I was like, oh man, I haven't had Burger King in a long fucking time.
Right.
I'm gonna stop and get some Burger King. So I pulled up the app on my phone because you know everyone has an app now, and it's always better to order. I'm gonna say always order through the app because they'll give you fucking rewards. Like I get free stuff from Taco Bell all the damn time because I go there a lot. But anyway, so I pull up the app on my phone and I like punch up the. All I got was I put on there a double Whopper. A double Whopper meal. Yeah. That motherfucker was $12 fucking.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, you're out of your fucking mind.
For just the meal?
Just the meal. I was like, Dealey, not going there.
Because I don't.
It was like $11.52 or something.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I don't do the meals, but I'll get like 2 fries or something. And, you know, I'll get extra stuff that, you know, if you got the meal, it'd be like, you'd think it'd be like cheaper, and that's $11.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Like I'll get a burger, and if I don't get 2 fries, I'll get like a little chicken fry or something with my fries.
No, it was like I want to say it was $11.62 or something like that. I'm like, you guys are out of your fucking mind. I end up going to Wendy's because I'll just do the 4 for $4 at Wendy's.
Right.
You know?
I've been doing Wendy's chicken sandwich lately.
But that's the first time I've eaten at Wendy's in probably 6 months maybe. But you know, I go to Taco Bell because it's fucking cheap. They got the $5 boxes. I can crush a $5 box and be good. But,
to me, I just get the cheesy gordita crunch, 2 of those, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, we gotta stop talking about Taco Bell.
I know.
You're gonna make me. The only thing I've eaten so far today is popcorn, so I'm fucking hungry.
That's funny.
But yeah, I don't even know how I got onto food, but
just because of the culture, we were talking about, you know.
We went from the
war in
Ukraine to illegals crossing the border to Hispanic food and Taco Bell and how fucking expensive it is. But anyway, that's I don't even know where the hell I was going with all that.
Well, you know why it's expensive? Because they're raising the minimum wage, Nick.
Hold on real quick. Let me say this. So we got all this, and so inflation is an issue right now. It is,
right? Yeah.
Inflation is an issue, but people are. This is not all inflation that we're seeing.
Right.
You know, when you've got a company. You know, there's a cereal company out there. I think it was General Mills. I think it was one of the big cereal manufacturers.
There's General Mills, Kellogg, and maybe Nabisco.
No, I don't know. But anyway, they announced that they were raising prices by 20%. But last year, but they just gave all their, you know, the heads of the CEO and everyone,
right.
They give them all like multi-million-dollar fucking bonuses.
Yep.
Because they're record fucking profits. What we're seeing is not all inflation.
It's greed.
Part of it is inflation. Yeah. Part of it is companies making up for lost time. They lost money over the last 2 years during the pandemic. So they're going to make it up now by jacking up fucking prices.
And they can blame it on the Democrats.
And they can blame it on whoever. They don't give a fuck.
Right.
It's all corporate greed.
Well, I think they'd like to blame it on the Democrats because they know Democrats are coming for their tax dollars.
What I'm saying though is even if Trump was in office, this would be going on right now,
Right.
because it's not the only thing CEOs and COOs and everyone else that runs these corporations think about is the fucking bottom line. That's all they fucking care about.
Right.
So they're never going to pass up an opportunity to fucking rape people over fucking prices.
Right.
And that's exactly what's going on. That's why you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Same thing with oil companies. They're having, record fucking quarters so far.
Right, because they're using the war as an excuse.
They're using it as an excuse.
Because there's no shortage.
No.
There's no run. No one's using more.
There is nothing that has gone on in the past week that has caused gas prices here in the state of Michigan to go up 40 fucking cents a gallon.
No. Yeah.
Nothing.
No.
There's been nothing.
And the fact is the gas that's going up, that you're paying 40 cents more for, was actually purchased at a much lower price.
Yeah, but I was having this conversation with somebody a couple days ago, and they made a good point. Yes, the gas that you're paying more for was purchased at a lower price, but you're paying more for it now because they've got to buy more gas at the higher price.
Right.
So but it doesn't need to go up that high now.
No.
But if you look online, the gas prices in California are $5 a gallon already.
Right.
I was reading something yesterday that said that gas prices could go up to $7 a gallon here in the U.S.
That's too much. That's
even now it's causing me to drive less already.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, we'll be doing this remote if that happens. You need to know that.
Oh yeah. We can do that. But I was supposed to go to the record store this morning, but I thought about it last night. I was like, fuck, it's going to cost me $20 in gas just to drive to the damn record store.
Right.
So, hey, sorry, Dearborn Music, but I'm going to buy some records from Amazon for a while.
Right.
Because you're seeing, even like shipping rates and all that stuff are going to be going up too.
Yep.
If it gets that high. Because diesel.
Well, Amazon won't, because if you got Prime, I mean, you're not paying.
But they're already they have already jacked up the price for Prime.
Oh, have
Prime's going up to like $160 a year or something like that.
I pay monthly, so I don't know.
That's good. Well, you pay even more than that then.
Yeah, I just pay
because it's a.
I don't even know what I pay for it, to be honest with you. I've had it for so long, I just don't even look.
But yeah, because you get a discounted rate when you buy,
pay for
the whole year. Yeah. But yeah, I want to say it's like $150 or $160 that's going up to.
There will come a point where that'll be too much, because I don't actually use anything other than the free shipping.
That's all I use either, because I don't watch anything on there.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched a few things on there, and there's a few shows that I like that are on there, but not enough to justify the cost, especially with all the other streaming services going up in price.
Yeah. But that's the funny thing about all the streaming services is like people bitch and whined about the price of cable forever,
and now they're paying the same.
And now
price.
you're paying more in a lot of instances.
I would argue that at least you have choice now in terms of what you want to watch. Because cable's always been just like networks. Whatever they want to broadcast or put on is on. Yeah. At least with streaming, you can say, well, I want to watch this today, and it's on there, and you can go watch it. So I kind of get, for the convenience of that and for the freedom of that.
But you're still paying more. Right. You're paying more now than
because you still have to have your internet bill too.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to raise my internet because we kept hitting our fucking cap on on our internet, our data. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It's just all fucking expensive.
Yeah,
and it's only going to get even more expensive.
Well, there's going to have to come a point where that was the only argument that I ever not against the living wage, because but minimum wage being what, doubling it or tripling it all at once rather than kind of doing it in stages. If everything goes up really fast, they're not going to lower the prices to adjust. The prices are going to stay high no matter what. So yeah, if your McDonald's worker who's making $9 an hour finally making $15 an hour, with the rate of inflation going up, they're still going to be at the same level they were before in terms of what they can afford. Yeah. That's the problem. You have to find a way to. It's not just about paying a living wage, but finding a way to make it so these companies can't fucking rape us.
Yeah. But the problem is
keep prices at a reasonable rate.
Here's the problem, though. Over the course of the last, 40, I'd say 40 years, since the beginning of the 80s. Mm-hmm. There has been a corporate consolidation in the United States to a point where a very small handful of corporations, and actually an even smaller handful of people, are running all these same corporations. so there's all this collusion. There's no competition in the United States anymore.
Right.
So you've got, look at phone companies. There's 3 of them now. There's
3 big ones.
Yeah, and then there's some smaller ones that
are still competing, but nowhere near at the level.
Near the top.
Right.
So you've got 3 phone companies that over the course of the last 30 years have all consolidated, and they're all fucking expensive as shit now. Mm-hmm. And yes, we're going to give you, if you do this, you'll save a little bit of money. It's still way more expensive than whatever was before. Right. And there's no competition. There's no real competition there to force them to lower the fees and monthly payments. And
this is why unfettered capitalism is bad.
Yes.
And
that was one whole, and Biden even talked about it in the State of the Union, that about corporate greed and this consolidation and things like that. And it is a serious fucking problem. Yeah. And it's something that, unfortunately, Republicans definitely are fucking interested in fixing. And neither are Democrats.
Well, yeah, right. Anyone who's making money in politics right now is not going to do anything about it, because guess who they're making their money from?
Exactly. Yeah. So they're gonna they'll talk a big game until Verizon slides in there and greases their palm a little bit, and then all the legislation goes away, and all the fucking talk of it goes away. Mm-hmm. And it's not just phone companies; it's cable companies and everything. Because there's maybe 5 major
I can really only think
TV
of
companies
2 or 3.
Well, but there's several of them.
Right.
There's more than there is with phone companies. That's for damn sure. Right. But I guess TV companies or cable companies have definitely lost power because of the options, because of streaming.
Right.
Even though streaming is fucking expensive with all the streaming options, but
it's because they in order to offer more, they have to. They're getting. I don't think it was planned out properly. It kind of all just started happening. Netflix kind of just opened the floodgates to all of it. And where everyone's like, well, we have to compete now, so we have to get on board. So they're, we'll get on, we'll start at $5, but we're not making any money at $5 because we got to have all this content, pay for all this content. And now, and to be fair, a lot of people within the industry, in terms of like the movie industry and the TV industry, the bigwigs are making money, extra money, that because they're not doing physical media and all that other stuff, they're making money for doing nothing. Basically, the product property is just making money for name. Yeah. And, the people who wrote and worked on those projects are starting to want their cut of it too. Fairly and reasonably. So that it's just, it's raising the floor, but it's raising the floor unevenly.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, and I'm an Apple guy. I like the products. They make good phones and good computers and everything. Apple TV Plus is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
They've got basically one show that they push, and they're even charging $15 a month for it now.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I have no interest in getting Apple TV.
Because they've got Ted Lasso, I think, is the one big show that they have.
Yeah.
And they've got
I've heard it's good.
I've heard it's good too, but I'm not paying $15 a month for it. But you've got the wealthiest company in the fucking world, the most profitable company in the fucking world, and they're even charging $15 a month for their service that, they'll probably get a lot more subscribers if it was $7.99 a month.
Right.
But at $14.99, I ain't fucking.
There's just not enough.
What you're telling me is you are going to charge me the same price for Apple TV Plus that I am for fucking HBO Max? You're out of your fucking mind.
Right. Especially because HBO Max is a lot more.
Yeah, and I don't even watch HBO Max a whole lot, but I watch it enough to justify the cost of it.
Me too.
And maybe there's a couple other people that live outside my house that use it also, but whatever. Which that's something else that eventually they're going to have to. The streaming companies are going to have to do something about, because since the very beginning of Netflix online streaming service, people have been sharing their fucking accounts. And,
right.
I've got several that.
Well, they would say that's why they keep raising their prices. That's what they would say. It's not true, but that's what they would say.
Well, because they'll justify it by saying anything they fucking want, because it doesn't matter.
Well, it's the same thing with the minimum wage. If we raise the minimum wage, prices are going to have to go up. No, they really don't.
No,
You
they
know,
don't.
if your profit margin is X and you raise the minimum wage, which is really only going to take away like 1 or 2% of that, you can eat the cost.
Yeah.
You don't need to raise your prices 5 or 6% just to make up for it, to make up for that 1% you might lose in revenue. You know,
Look at it this way, Ian. What is the most expensive state in the United States to live in?
It'd be New York or California.
California. It's expensive to live in California.
Yeah.
The minimum wage in San Francisco is $15 an hour, and it has been for several years. Right. The cost of food, like McDonald's, for instance, is relatively the same as what it is here.
Right.
It's a 10 or 15 cent difference.
Right.
Is all it is.
Which is reasonable.
Yeah.
As I'm willing
I
to
want to
pay.
say it was like 12-cent difference.
I'm willing to pay an extra 10 or 20 cents for a burger, and then an extra 10 cents on a fry.
Yeah.
If it means paying a living wage to the workers who are there.
No, absolutely. This is what I've said for fucking years, probably 15 years. I've been saying this, that if you work a 40-hour-a-week job, you should make enough money that you do not qualify for government benefits.
Right.
Because if you qualify for government benefits, then we are subsidizing McDonald's and Walmart and whoever else
for paying lower
wages.
Right.
Which is fucking stupid.
Right. Well, it's all built into the system.
I know, because then all you're doing is inflating the entitlement, as people want to call it, in government.
Right.
We're paying more money into these programs because companies refuse to fucking pay their employees, I said, it's fucking madness.
Well, and they've got good publicity about it because they convince a percentage of our population that the people who should be making $15 an hour are the enemies.
Yeah.
The people who are in poverty are the bad guys.
But the funny thing is, like, a lot of times it's the people in poverty that fucking buy into it.
Yeah. It's definitely amongst, well, not to be entirely racist, but amongst the very poor white people.
I would say,
because they don't see themselves necessarily as poor.
Non-college educated white people.
Yeah, okay. Because they don't see themselves in the sense in being in that poverty level. They see minorities
temporarily displaced millionaires is how they see themselves.
Exactly, and they only see minorities as the people who are on.
Yeah.
Even though they're on assistance too. Yeah. Theirs is temporary. The minorities are on it for life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's how they see it,
and that's something that Ronald Reagan helped create in the 80s.
Oh, of course,
talking about the welfare queens and things like that.
A lot of that corporate conglomeration that you were talking about was because consolidation is because of Reagan too.
Yeah.
Deregulation of businesses and shit like
but
that.
a lot of that stuff even started in the 70s.
Oh, it did. But Reagan helped a lot.
It went on steroids in the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Saint Reagan is no saint.
And I used to steal my line.
Yeah,
I've been calling him Saint Reagan forever too.
Well, shit, they fucking worship him like a fucking saint.
I know that.
Because he made a lot of them very rich.
Very fucking rich. Yeah. Republicans and Democrats, man.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of them fucking rich.
Yeah. I know that. We got to get the money out, man.
There's no way to do it, though. It's not going to fucking happen.
Well, to me, it does not seem like the system as it stands can sustain, because it's just too goddamn top heavy. Eventually, something's going to have to happen.
I don't think so.
Are we talking like French Revolution, where we have to pull the millionaires out of their houses and chop off their heads to get them to
hopefully we'll reach that level, but
no, but there will come a point where the people are just not going to fucking take it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be a very long time before we get to a point like that, though.
Yeah.
I think
well, I hope so. I don't want to be involved.
No, because there's enough wealth in this country to keep putting Band-Aids on it and pushing the system along before it collapses.
I don't know.
And I'm talking about.
I'm not even talking about the system.
I'm not even talking about like personal wealth. I'm talking about governmental wealth. Right. We've got enough money in our government that it can do things to kind of, like I said, put a Band-Aid on it and push it along. But I don't
know. Look how hard it is just to get child care put into a fucking bill
because that doesn't help the people that make the decisions.
Well, but those are Band-Aids that'll help the people,
but they
who might come storming the castle.
But they don't care about that, though.
Well,
they don't care about that.
They will, because let's face it, the people have stormed the castle. They were wrong, and they did it for the wrong reasons, but it should have shown them that the populace is capable of doing that.
Yeah.
And if they do it for the right reason, and they have the moral support of the people on their side, unlike the last insurrection.
Yeah, I will say that I don't see it.
Not in our lifetime, but it's bound to happen. If shit does not change, it will fucking happen.
Yeah, possibly. But I was going to say, I don't think any issue is ever going to have the support of the country. We're just too fractured of a population.
There's only so long a population can handle being taken advantage of, though. And we're seeing it. We are seeing it. Well,
but we've been taken advantage of for 50 fucking years, 60 years.
Some would argue that it's been this way for hundreds of years.
Oh, well, for some people, it has been this way for hundreds of years.
I would say,
if you get what I'm talking about,
I do. I guess my point is we're already seeing in the newer generations a less of a willingness to put up with it already.
Yeah,
so. Another 2 or 3 generations, it wouldn't take much.
But here's the thing. I think the election, the 2022 election, is going to be very telling, because I believe it will be the first time that registered millennials outnumber baby boomers as far as like the electorate goes.
If they go out and vote.
If they go out, and that's what I'm saying though, is are the younger generations the type of people or the type of generation that's just going to
the past generations
bitch and complain about it, or are they actually going to mobilize and actually do something about it?
Right. Because I would say, for when you look back at the different generations, especially the different generations that are alive right now, for the most part, there's a lot of shit that Gen Xers have had to put up with as a generation. But the one thing that we keep falling short on is fucking voting.
Yeah,
Gen Xers do not.
We always
vote.
have.
Yeah, we always have. Gen Xers are not big on voting.
Yeah,
we never have. They just don't.
And I don't know why.
I don't either. Well, knowing a few of the Gen Xers that I know, I'm kind of glad. I would be glad if they stopped voting. But and they're the ones that do vote.
Did you say the few Gen Xers that you know? We should know a lot of Gen Xers. We are Generation X.
I know, but I don't know a lot of them. I know you and Andy and Corey and my sister.
Yeah, because I guess
that's about it.
Because millennials,
we work with millennials.
Yeah, I guess we kind of do.
And there's a few fucking Gen Zers squeaking in there now.
There is. We're getting fucking old, man.
Yeah,
we're getting old.
Fuck you. I don't want to get old. I'm done with it, man.
I'm like a fine wine, though, man. I just keep getting better with age.
Yeah. Wasn't it you earlier complaining about how many times a night you have to get up and piss? How fine wine is that?
No. I didn't have an issue with how many times I have to get up, because I don't. I only have to get up like once a night, maybe. Yeah. Most nights I don't have to.
Right. Then I was the one complaining.
You made a comment about it. I was talking about me having to get up and pee in the middle of a movie as well.
Well, to be fair, I had to. When you got up, I had to pee too, and I sat through the rest of that movie.
I mean, I knew I was going to be out of the theater for all of like 90 seconds. So
you moved about 2 minutes.
2 minutes is what I was going. So whatever.
And you didn't really miss anything.
And that's because when I walked in the bathroom, this is kind of weird. I don't know why I'm going to talk about this, but anyway, I walked into the bathroom, and so the movie theater we were at, because we went and saw the Batman movie earlier. Mm-hmm. So I walked into the bathroom, and there's urinals on one side. There's probably like 6 urinals. And then there's like 6 stalls on the other side.
Did you go to the one that was just when you're starting to head out?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I walk in there, and I'm a 6'2" kind of tallish kind of guy, so I don't want to use like the super low fucking urinals,
right?
Because I feel really weird to like.
I'm the same
way. Basically
on the ground,
over top. Yeah, basically over top of the urinal.
Yeah.
And so there was only one other guy. Like I said, I think there were 6 urinals. There's only one other guy at the urinal, but that motherfucker wasn't at the very end.
He sat right next to you?
Like he should have been. He was one in from the end. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm not going to pee next to the fucking guy.
Right.
And I'm not going to pee at one of these low-ass urinals, so I'm going in one of the stalls and peeing. So it took me a couple extra seconds,
right.
But I'm like, dude, go to the fucking end, because I don't want to stand next to somebody and pee. I could have stood 2 down front of them.
It's kind of like an unspoken rule. If you walk in and you're the only one walking in, go to the farthest end. Yeah, go to the farthest one. so that people coming in aren't, first of all, walking behind you.
Yeah.
And second of all, they don't have to stand right next to
And
you.
that's the other thing is like when I go into the bathroom, if I need to go into the stall, I'm going into the fucking end stall.
Yeah. See, I got lucky. When I walked in, there was like, you said there was like six stalls. All but one of them was filled. So I was like, well, I guess I'm using the fucking, you know.
But those are the thing that used to kill me. When I worked at Lowe's in Tennessee, and for I don't know, it was a couple of years ago when we first moved down there. And you walk into the bathroom, and there was only 3 stalls, right? But it used to fucking kill me because every fucking time I went in there and needed to go in there, so there was somebody in the middle fucking stall. I'm like, are you fucking
right?
Are you crazy? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you fucking weirdo. Do you want people to shit sit next to you? No, you pick the end stall.
Yeah, unless it's a handicap one.
Why not? Pick the end stall. Whatever.
If you're not handicapped, you shouldn't be using it.
I'll use the end. I don't care.
What was?
I'm not in there for fucking 45 minutes. I'm not building fucking towers, and I'm not playing with Legos in there. You go in there, do your business, and get out. It's like a couple minute thing.
You mean you're not supposed to play with Legos in there? Well, no, shit, I have been doing it all wrong for years.
I'm sure Ian goes in there and spends 45 minutes on fucking TikTok, but
yeah, I can't even deny that. There's no way. Hell, I get most of my TikToking done while I'm taking a shit.
Yeah, so don't be a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
Don't pick the middle stall, and don't pick one of the middle fucking urinals.
We live in a society. Come on.
Yeah. Be a civilized motherfucker. Move to the end. That should be the title of the episode.
Move to the end. Don't stand so close.
I remember like
was that a police song? Don't stand so close to me.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. The Police are a Sting song.
Oh, I don't remember. I remember the first time I went to like I think it was a Red Wings game at the old Joe Louis Arena. Did you ever go there? They had like
I went to one game with you.
They had troughs, so you like peed in the trough.
I don't think I used.
And that was the weirdest fucking. Maybe that was at Tiger Stadium actually. But anyway, peeing in a trough was always a fucking very weird thing.
Yeah,
because you walk in and you're like, where do I stand? I mean,
right? Because there's not like lines on the floor.
No, man.
Second of all, it's like, you know, if you're at a urinal, you can stare at the wall. You know what I mean? You can kind of block everyone out. At a trough, you really can't.
No, but the worst part about it is, so I remember like the game I went to was really busy. I walk into the bathroom. I'm peeing in this trough. I've got a guy on each side of me peeing in this trough also. And when you pee, there's splashback. Right. So you're like, man, is this fucking splashback from me, or am I getting peed on by one of these motherfuckers here?
What you didn't see was I'm going, hey, it's a water park.
Well, sometimes I know they put like ice and things like that
to reduce
the splashing. But yeah, I was like, dude, I don't know who I'm getting peed on by here. It's fucking gross.
Yeah, the trough system. If I walked into a bathroom with a trough, I wouldn't use it. I'd go right for a stall.
He's like, and I'm peeing in the trash can.
Yeah. Everyone's at the trough and I'm peeing in the sink.
I've peed in a sink before.
Well, of course, every guy has, but it's you're doing a restroom, public restroom.
Ian's up there taking a shit in the sink, sitting up on the ledge of it. Leave me alone! I'm just TikToking here. That's a terrible.
The mountain of shit is touching my ass. Why?
Ian,
it's not even falling anymore. It's just bunching up.
Oh, God. Now I'm being fucked in the ass by my own shit.
Right. Ew.
Wait, am I not supposed to like this?
Right. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, and
that went downhill real fast.
As things tend to on here.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so Ukraine. That was a hell of a segue.
Yeah.
Ukraine's it's gonna be touchy. I mean, it's gonna be interesting moving forward to see how it all plays out. Obviously, I hope President Zelensky and everyone is. Spared their lives, but right. I know that they did reach an agreement with Russia that they were going to allow a safe passage for civilians to leave. So, but the onslaught is coming.
Right,
it's going to be an ugly couple of weeks, months.
Because Putin won't back down.
And he won't back down. And Putin's the kind of individual that, and he's shown it before, if it's not going his way, he will resort to human atrocities.
Oh, of course.
You know,
I don't doubt it.
You know, he has no problems, you know, doing things to people that you know, break every kind of international law.
Of course. Well, he doesn't consider himself to be
because he consider, like Trump, they consider themselves above the law.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get Trump out there praising him and talking about how, you know, he's a genius.
He's a genius, yeah.
And a great strategist, even though it's the strategy in Ukraine's been pretty damn pathetic so far.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, underfunded too. That was what I was talking about earlier. I mean, they had fucking tanks running out of gas on the way there.
I saw this video of this Ukrainian guy.
I saw that one too.
He was like, "Hey, do you want me to tow your tank back to Russia for you?"
Well, he goes, "I'll give you a tow, but I'll get it back to Russia."
Yeah. And there was a little island, I guess. I don't know if you saw the video of the Russian ship kind of, or the
one with where the missile went like out of. They fired a missile and it like.
Well, no, they called out to the Ukrainians on the island, and they were like, "Hey, you know, surrender and blah blah blah," and they were like, "Hey, Russia, fuck you," and then they just like mowed them all down on the island.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, but
so the Russians mowed down the Ukrainians.
Yeah, they killed all the Ukrainians. Yeah,
they said fuck you.
Yeah, they told them to surrender or they were gonna die, and they were like, "Fuck you."
Right. Well,
so they died, but you know, it's you know. Us as Americans, we would do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I have to die, I'd much rather die standing, you know, for sure.
I mean, I could see Canada. I could see Canada invading us more than. I mean, obviously, no one's ever going to invade us, but I could see Canada invading us more. I think it's more likely that they would do it than Mexico.
Mexico doesn't really have a military.
No.
I mean, to be honest, Canada doesn't really have much of a military either.
Yeah, I can see like the Mounties like riding down the street
in their bright red jackets.
Yeah. We're just riding into the Capitol, eh?
Whoa. Here's a bottle of maple syrup. And they get there, they knock on the door. Hello, we're here. Can we come in? Yeah. Thanks, friend.
Oh,
now we're not leaving.
And we're here for life.
Right.
But, yeah, hopefully it doesn't get to a point where we're at a ground war with Russia. Because then I think we'll, you know, I think it wouldn't last long. I don't think it'd be any kind of like long.
If NATO actually had to get involved.
Yeah. Like if you were to invade Poland.
Do you think that would be Putin's scorched earth policy rather than using nukes, but just like going ahead and trying to start a big full-blown war?
No, because I don't know what his end goal would be in that.
Well, it would be a scorched earth policy. Be like, well, there's no way I'm going to win this. NATO's right at my back door. I might as well just go for it. Fuck them.
But what I'm saying though is like, if he takes Ukraine, when he takes Ukraine, because he's going to eventually. You know, I don't know what his end goal would be to go into a NATO country.
Right.
Because he knows if he goes to a NATO country, he's fucked.
Right.
Because he's going to have everyone against him.
Right. What does that say, though? I mean, that we can't stop him from taking this country over. What does that say?
We could, but there's no reason. Because here's the thing, man, is and this is something that the U.S. has kind of fought against really forever, is being the world's police.
Have we really fought against it though? Because we're completely content to be the world's police when there's a lot of fucking money or oil involved.
No, well, oil or an ally, and Ukraine.
Even then,
Ukraine is not. Ukraine has never really been an ally.
No.
You know, they're not part of.
But they could have been.
They could have been, but they're not part of NATO. They're not part of anything else that really we're tied to. Mm-hmm. You know, so this is an unfortunate event that they are going to be, or they are being invaded by Russia, but we have no alliance with Ukraine.
Right.
You know, should we have intervened in Bosnia and other atrocities before we did? Absolutely. And right. This might be something we look back on and say, yes, we should have been involved going into and stop them from overtaking Ukraine because X, Y, and Z happened after. Right. But at this point, you know, there is no incentive for us to go in there.
Huh.
There's nothing that's forcing us to go in.
Other than it would probably be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I say probably just because, I don't think I'd ever want to be the person who says, we have to go into this. We have to put our men and women in harm's way because that's someone else's son, someone else's daughter, husband, wife. And I'm one of those people that I don't have to have fought in a war to understand that there are consequences of war.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah,
I will say this.
I'm glad I don't have to make that decision.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I will say that any ground war with Russia will be very bloody. There will be a lot of people that die. Right. A lot of people that die. So I think that also...
Because they actually do have a military.
Yeah. Poorly operating right now, but they do have a military. They have a very modernized military. But, like I said, any kind of like ground action against Russia, it's going to result in, a large loss of life. And with Ukraine not being part of NATO, not being part of the world stage, basically, there isn't that push to make us go in there and do something about it at this point.
Right.
Because it's just, it will be something that'll cost a lot of American lives. Mm. It could potentially end in nuclear war.
True. But, maybe it's just that idea of mine that I'm thinking, in my lifetime, actually seeing us take military action that's morally justifiable for the first time, legitimately.
Yeah, legitimately. Because obviously going into Iraq and Afghanistan was not morally justified.
No.
The Persian Gulf War wasn't morally justified. I mean, fucking Saddam Hussein gave the world fair notice that he was going into Kuwait.
Right.
And we were like...
Well, it's kind of a similar situation, but again, there was oil involved. Right? I mean, why did we get involved?
And Kuwait was an ally of the United States. Yeah. So...
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, even that, and then, Vietnam was just before our time, but that wasn't a morally strong war.
Yeah. It's terrible what is going on, what is happening, what has happened, and what will happen to the Ukrainian people. It's absolutely terrible.
Right. But
at this point, I think it's right for us not to be involved in a ground war in Ukraine. If he overtakes Ukraine and then continues on to the Baltic states,
which he won't, he's not that fucking stupid.
But the Baltic states were part of the Soviet Union,
right.
So if his goal is to rebuild the Soviet Union, he will. But those Baltic states are NATO countries,
right? So
that's what I'm saying. If he goes into the Baltics, if he invades Poland, Turkey, whatever it is, then you're going to see a very large, international reaction to that aggression.
Right. So, the Ukraine could end up being the Britain of World War III. They have to take this shit for a few years until the enemy makes a mistake, and then we have to get involved.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I mean, we kind of ran a little bit longer.
I know. I mean, we were such a light side of things when we were talking about pooping up our ass, but now it brought it down to the end. We're like, let's just end it on a dour note, man.
And we're all gonna die. Okay, guys.
Enjoy pooping up your ass.
Any questions or comments? You can email us at Ian. What's our email address?
lifeingeneralpod@gmail.com.
That it is, and we're on Facebook, and that's about it. Check out the show. Leave us reviews on. You can do reviews on Spotify now with podcasts. So leave us a review on there. You leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And
if you like pooping up your ass, let us know about that too.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, that's all I got, man.
Till next time. That's your line.
Yeah. It hasn't been so long since we recorded that we fucked that up.
Yeah. I'll talk to you later.
Until next time.
Talk to you later.
Peace.
Play my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you some cobras, you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, them niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bruh. We taking the dub, hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.
Oh shit. Watch out, you the god, Billy. Oh shit. Right now, and I'm smiling in your face, bitch. With a gold smile, you should probably make placement to your eye. Niggas sick as fuck. Standing with niggas who down for that party. Who down for some bitches who showing their body.